lovely colouring friends, my name's Amanda and this is my channel Amanda Colours. I hope you are doing really well today. I am here with my beautiful little friend Emerald and she says hello. And yeah, we are here with a fun video, but before I get to that, did you know that Australia is so big that one of our southern cities, Melbourne, is closer to Antarctica than it is to one of our northern cities, Darwin. So from Melbourne to Darwin is 3,140 kilometers, and from Melbourne to Antarctica is 3,120 kilometers. So yes, Australia is a very, very big place, and I think a lot of people don't understand how big it is. But anyway, that's my little fun fact for today. Don't forget, you can also follow me on social media. So I am over on Instagram at amanda.colours. I have a Facebook group that I co-host with my beautiful friend Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring, and that is Colour With Us. So the colour in this case does not have a U, and it's 3 exclamation points. I also have a Facebook group called Aussie Adult Colouring Buy Swap Sell, and that's a group where you, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, you can post items that are colouring related to sell. So if you have an extra set of pens that you don't use, or a colouring book that you bought but it's not quite the style that you want, and they're in good condition, you can sell them on that group. And I also have a website, amandacolours.com, that has lots of great freebies and things like that. And I do also have a store which isn't on here, but it's my coffee store, and I have freebies, and I also have a few low-cost colouring related items, a digital colouring book, colouring swatches, a colouring planner, things like that. And the link for all of these are down in the description, as well as my Ko-fi coffee store. So let's get into it. This video is part of my Mythical Minis series, and that is where I colour a page out of Camellia Angel Cover's 50 Mythical Miniatures. And this book is full of adorable mythical creatures, and I choose one and then I go about telling you all about that creature and the lore of that creature and the etymology of the name and that sort of thing. So because it is June, June is also sometimes known as Junicorn. So June with unicorns. So of course I have to do, where is it? Nope, I have a few of these marked out. Here we go. Of course we are going to be doing the unicorn. So I am going to get set up here and start to colour, and then I will start doing a voiceover with all the fun facts about unicorns. And I will be colouring with my Ohuhu pastel alcohol markers, which I'm absolutely loving, and pastels are perfect for a unicorn. And yeah, let's get colouring. The unicorn is a legendary creature that has been described since antiquity as a beast with a single large, pointed, spiralling horn projecting from its forehead. In European literature and art, the unicorn has, for the last 1,000 years or so, been depicted as a white horse or goat-like animal with a long straight horn with spiraling grooves, cloven hooves, and sometimes a goat's beard. In the Middle Ages and Renaissance, it was commonly described as an extremely wild woodland creature, a symbol of purity and grace which could be captured only by a virgin. In encyclopedias, its horn was described as having the power to render poisoned water drinkable and to heal sickness. In medieval and Renaissance times, the tusk of the narwhal was sometimes sold as a unicorn horn. A bovine type of unicorn is thought by some scholars to have been depicted in seals of the Bronze Age Indus Valley civilization, the interpretation remaining controversial. An equine form of the unicorn was mentioned by the ancient Greeks in accounts of natural history by various writers, and the Bible also describes an animal, the ram, which some translations render as unicorn. The unicorn continues to hold a place in popular culture. It is often used as a symbol of fantasy or rarity. Unicorns are not found in Greek mythology, but rather in the accounts of natural history. For Greek writers of natural history were convinced of the reality of unicorns, which they believed lived in India, a distant and fabulous realm for them. The earliest description is from Ctesias, who in his book Indica described them as wild asses, fleeting of foot, having a horn, a cubit and a half in length, and coloured white, red and black. Unicorn meat was said to be bitter to eat. Pliny the Elder mentions the oryx and an Indian ox, perhaps a greater one-horned rhinoceros, as a one-horned beast, as well as a very fierce animal called the monosaurus, which has the head of the stag, the feet of the elephant, and the tail of the boar, while the rest of the body is like that of the horse. It makes a deep, lowing noise and has a single black horn which projects from the middle of its forehead. Medieval knowledge of unicorns stemmed from biblical and ancient sources, and unicorns were variously represented as a kind of wild ass, goat, or horse. Several European medieval travellers claim to have seen unicorns in their travels outside of Europe. For example, Felix Fabry claimed to have seen a unicorn in Sinai. The predecessor of the medieval bestiary, compiled in late antiquity, known as Physiologus, popularised an elaborate allegory in which a unicorn trapped by a maiden, representing the Virgin Mary, stood for the incarnation. As soon as the unicorn sees her, it lays its head on her lap and falls asleep. This becomes a basic emblematic tag that underlies medieval notions of the unicorn, justifying its appearance in both secular and religious art. The unicorn is often shown hunted, raising parallels both with vulnerable virgins and sometimes the Passion of Christ. Subsequently, some writers translate this into an allegory for Christ's relationship with the Virgin Mary. The unicorn also figured in courtly terms. For some 13th century French authors, the lover is attracted to his lady as the unicorn is to the Virgin. With the rise of humanism, the unicorn also acquired more orthodox secular meanings, emblematic of chaste love and faithful marriage. The horn itself and the substance it was made from was called alicorn, and it was believed that the horn holds magical and medicinal properties. The Danish physician Ole Worm determined in 1638 that the alleged alicorns were the tusks of narwhals. Such beliefs were examined wittily and at length in 1646 by Sir Thomas Browne. False alicorn powder made from the tusk of narwhals or horns of various animals was sold in Europe for medicinal purposes as late as 1741. The alicorn was thought to cure many diseases and have the ability to detect poisons, and many physicians would make cures and sell them. Cups were made from alicorn for kings and given as gifts. These were usually made of ivory or walrus ivory. Entire horns were very precious in the Middle Ages and were often really the tusks of narwhals. One traditional method of hunting unicorns involved entrapment by a virgin. In one of his notebooks, Leonardo da Vinci wrote, "The unicorn, through its intemperance and not knowing how to control itself, for the love it bears to fair maidens, forgets its ferocity and wildness, and, laying aside all fear, it will go up to a seated damsel and go to sleep in her lap, and thus the hunters take it." In heraldry, a unicorn is often depicted as a horse with a goat's cloven hooves and beard, a lion's tail, and a slender spiral horn on its forehead. Whether because it was an emblem of the incarnation or of the fearsome animal passions of raw nature, the unicorn was widely used in early heraldry, but became popular from about the 15th century. Though sometimes shown collared and chained, which may be taken as an indication that it had been tamed or tempered, it is more usually shown collared with a broken chain attached, showing that it has broken free from its bondage. In heraldry, the unicorn is also best known as a symbol of Scotland. The unicorn was believed to be the natural enemy of the lion, a symbol that the English royals had adopted around 100 years before. 2 unicorns supported the royal arms of the King of Scots and Duke of Rothesay. And since the 1707 Union of England and Scotland, the royal arms of the United Kingdom have been supported by a unicorn along with an English lion. The unicorn to this day is still the national animal of Scotland. An animal called the reem is mentioned in several places in the Hebrew Bible, often as a metaphor representing strength. The translators of the Authorized King James Version of the Bible, 1611, followed the Greek words and the Latin word and employed unicorn to translate rehem, providing a recognizable animal that was proverbial for its untamable nature. The American Standard Version includes this term wild ox in each case. The killin, a creature in Chinese mythology, is sometimes called the Chinese unicorn, and some ancient accounts describe a single horn as its defining feature. The Japanese version more closely resembles the Western unicorn, even though it is based on the Chinese killin. The Vietnamese myth, similarly sometimes translated to unicorn, is a symbol of wealth and prosperity that made its first appearance during the Duong dynasty about 600 AD. However, in recent years, unicorns have exploded in popularity and taken over popular culture in ways never before seen. From unicorn frappuccinos to stuffed animals to fashion trends, everywhere you turn, there are unicorn-themed products to be found. Movies and TV shows featuring unicorns have long been popular, but the trend has exploded in recent years. The animated film My Little Pony the movie featured unicorns as major characters, while the Netflix series Disenchantment also prominently features unicorns. In literature, books such as The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle and A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas have captivated readers with their stories about unicorns. While some may criticise the commercialisation of unicorns, there is no denying that they have captured the imagination of people worldwide. Whether the trend continues or fades, one thing is for sure: unicorns will always hold a special place in our hearts and imaginations. Well, there we have it, my friends. That is our completed unicorn. I hope that you enjoyed hearing all about the unicorn and its history, and I hope you enjoyed watching me colour this. I would love to see your unicorn pages if you have coloured any for Junicorn. So, yeah, make sure you tag me over on Instagram with, or send them to me or whatever you would like. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. That would be amazing. So that is it from me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.